Ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime. Please enjoy the show.
It's the corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We got you.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Monday Morning Tight End on your Monday evening. I'm Marcus Dash, and of course, right there on the right there is our guy, former Chiefs tight end and legendary Chiefs tight end, Jason Dunn. JD, how the heck are you doing, my man?
What is up, Marcus? What's going down, baby? I'm doing well. I'm doing well, brother. Look, hey, it's a beautiful Monday evening. Okay, I was going to say a beautiful Monday morning. We got the evening going on. So, hey, if you're joining us right now, we are live in color, in effect, on Monday evening. I'm glad everybody's coming here. Everybody's going to be jumping into the chats and the comments like that, man. Listen, hey, look, Marcus, had a wonderful weekend. Guess what? State of Kentucky, we're going to have actually some great weather. Maybe no rain. Hopefully, it's supposed to be sunny all week, man, all week. I was telling my sister-in-law, shout out to Trish and my brother Charles down there in Georgia, that it's been raining. Rain. It's just been that on and on again. It's just like you get one good break and then all of a sudden it's rain, like 2 days, and you can never get what you want stringed together. So we finally going to get those days, man. What about you, man? What's it looking like with you, man? What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm still recovering from our flag loss yesterday. We were talking about it earlier. We made it to the championship game again, guys. So we 3 rounds, won the quarterfinals, won the semifinals, and then got to the championship and lost. They scored with 6 seconds left, and I had a long bomb heave down the field. JD caught the ball at the 1 yard line. The defense kind of didn't go for his flag. They impeded his forward progress, so there should have been a flag. There was when the refs gather, and this is something I always say, it's like we shouldn't leave it to the refs, but the refs gathered and they said that, the game was over. We should have gotten a one-time down. We didn't get an untimed down. We got screwed, but we have summer league starting in 2 weeks, so we'll be back up and ready to redeem ourselves. But 9 times second place in that league over the years we've been playing. So, yeah, but it's all right. It's all right.
Man. See, look, I should have came up there this weekend, man. I should have made my little celebrity appearance. You should have got him in. If he was at the 1 yard line, I would have carried him on in myself.
Yes, you would have
carried him on in myself.
Quite frankly, the 500 ball would have been to you at the end. Honestly, you just go up there and pluck that thing out of the sky.
I don't know if I got the bunnies like I used to, man. But shoot, I'd go up there and snatch that joker.
Well, you've been by far the tallest guy on the field. I think they had a guy who's like 6'4", the other team. But you'd definitely skied over him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right, man. Well, see, look, now, off of that news, okay, first off, man, congratulations, Marcus. Hey, man, good.
Second place.
Getting there, you know what I mean?
Like the Chiefs, our floor is the championship game or the Super Bowl. So at least we could say our floor is the championship game. We may not win it, but our floor is getting to the championship game. So at the worst case, like the Chiefs, we're at least getting to the Super Bowl, right?
That's it. That's right. Hey, man, it's about getting there, right? And you got there. You had to go through a lot of people, okay? Yeah. Man, you should have called me. I would have gave you a pregame speech. Had y'all jokers fired up and ready to go.
We'll do that for the summer. Championship for sure.
All right, good deal. Man, what's up, man? I'm going to say hi to everybody here. Oh, man, first off, hold on. Before I get started, so here's kind of a good story. So I'm shopping at Sam's Club, okay, this evening, and I was coming out, and I had my Kansas City Chiefs hat on, and so one of the young ladies was helping me out. She's like, "Oh, are you like an avid Chiefs fan?" I'm like, "I am." She's like, "Really?" She said, "My dad is a huge Chiefs fan." I said, "Is that right?" She said, "Yeah." She said, he's been a Chiefs fan for as long as I know. She said, like, I'm 35. You might not know it, but he's been a Chiefs fan since I've known it. I said, really? She said, yeah. I said, well, look. I said, I'll let you in on a secret. She said, what? I said, I used to play for the Chiefs. She said, no way. No way. I said, yeah. Yes. Little bitty old town here in Nicholasville, shopping at Sam's Club, and I run into a Chiefs fan, okay? Or a daughter of a Chiefs fan. And she said she was a Chiefs fan. And then she was just like, well, now I married a man who was actually a Tampa Bay fan. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah. So now I'm a Tampa Bay fan. I said, oh. I said, well, they got the worst quarterback in the league, Baker Mayfield. So I just wanted to give a shout out real quick to my man all the way out in San Diego. So he lives out in San Diego. He's out in San Diego. His name is James Path. So I just want to give a shout out to him. And they got a bar in Kansas out there in San Diego called Kansas City Barbecue. Can you believe it? Kansas City Barbecue.
Pretty clever name.
Huh? Yeah.
Pretty clever name.
Clever name, right? Out there, all the way in San Diego, I guess in the heart of it, they have Chiefs fans come out there, come watch the game. Man, Chiefs fans are everywhere. So I just want to go ahead and give the shout out right there to James Path and his daughter, Jasmine. Jasmine's the one that introduced me, said her dad, he's going to be watching the show. So you're in the West Coast, you're watching this right now. James, this shout out to you, brother, for being a Chiefs fan for 35 years, okay? That's to you. And I got one more shout out, one more. And so when I'm leaving, I drop there's like a pasta and kale salad. I drop it leaving out. I'm like, oh daggone. So the lady's like, you want to go back and get you another one? I go back and get me another one. On my way back, I see one of my guys that we do it's called Stogies and Bourbon. It's like a little club that we have here. One of my boys got it started together. Good time, guys kind of get together, hang out, do Stogies and Bourbon, tasting. Excellent. Good dudes. Just guys wanting to get together. And he was in there with his son. And so his son stands up. He's at Beaumont Middle School over here. And I was talking to him, man. He was just telling me, man, what did you think about being a Chiefs fan and Eagles fan? I said, look, man. I said, my loyalty is to the Chiefs. I love the Eagles, but my love is with the Chiefs. So, yeah, G-Pick said, I love Stogies and Bourbon. Yes. So, G-Pick, if you ain't here in Kentucky, you ever come this way, man, we have to set you up with something like that. But for that, my brother, Ryan Kistner is his son's name. Ryan, if you're watching this, and I told you I'm giving you a shout out, my brother, this is to you, man. This is to you, brother. All right? So, good meeting you, Ryan. And I told Ryan, I said, when you see a big guy like me, you stand up, stick your chest out, and you can say, yeah, I can tackle you. I say, you do that, right? I told you. Great. Yeah. So awesome. I just want to give a shout out real quick to those people. But let me go over to my family, all the family that's in here tonight. I see my sweetie, my wifey right here. Susan's here in the house. G-Pick is in the house. Doesn't say that. KC Colossus is here. Witchy Hall, good to see you, Witchy. Yeah, Costco's my spot. That's my spot, Costco. Sasha, hey, Sasha's here. She said, I'm always looking at Costco. I'm always at Costco. Love that joint. Love it. Laura Zingser is here. What's up, Laura? Delmonte Green Beans, what's up, brother? Good to see you as well. I'm the Browns in here, all right. I'm all right. And so he said, it's all good, Marcus. I never wear anything either. I'm the Warden story of Charlie Brown. Oh, come on.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right. That's all right. It's all good. Andrea Chanel. What's going on? Good to see you. Who else we got in here right now? Little Cam 51. The Battlehawks are one game away from the spring Super Bowl championship. Oh, okay.
Nice. St. Louis, baby. Like representing Missouri in the offseason.
Oh, okay. I didn't know who the Battlehawks were. So
it's the UFL, the XFL league. It's the St. Louis Battlehawks are like the Missouri representation in the UFL.
Oh, okay. Okay. Shoot, they need to do something. I'm glad they got something down there, man. They need to do something to do with that stadium. You know what I mean? So, who else we got in here? Zulu was here in the house, man. Good to see you, Zulu. Faye Smith. What's up, Faye? Good to see you, Faye. Linda Hunter is here in the house, too. Justin Blackwell, Nana Sherry, Deshaun Hammonds. What's going on, man? Deshaun, my brother. Who else we got in here, man? Angry Old Fetus. Is that what this is? Long time listening to the podcast. First time in the live. That's what you were saying before. Okay, my brother. Good to see you, man. Hey,
awesome.
got to have a good question for us. Have a good question for us. So, man, I gave my shout out to everybody saying what's up, man. Listen, hey, let's get this thing rolling, man. Good to see each and every one of you all. Good to see y'all.
I do want to make a confession before we go on because I know you guys are very observant, so everyone's going to notice this at some point. Because it was our flag playoffs today, or this weekend, I want to have some fun with it. My girlfriend and I want to have some fun with it. So, JD, I don't know if you're going to like this or not, but for the flag playoffs, kind of be the festive, kind of in the spirit of our flag playoffs, painted my nails a color of our red, yellow, black for the color of our uniforms. So if you guys see me throughout the night, you guys will see that's why. That's what that is.
Oh, okay.
Well, have some fun with it, you know.
I guess, yeah. Hey.
I know probably not your style, but
No. I'm not wearing no fingernail polish.
Hey, Susan digs it. Susan's a fan.
Yeah, hey. Go ahead, brother. Whatever shoot, where you go with.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm the Brown. Now I've seen everything. Yeah.
But I knew you guys.
I'm shocked. That shocked me. I am absolutely shocked by that.
I knew you guys. I had to say this because I know at some point you guys are going to notice if I'm drinking something throughout the episode. So, let me just get it out up front. I also will say, the Sixers drafted a guy from Duke this past year, Jared McCain. Guy's a badass sniper. He can shoot the ball from wherever. It's becoming a common trend with the young athletes now. A lot of the Gen Z athletes are doing the nail thing now, which it's the first time I've ever done it, and I just did it for the weekend because it was playoffs, but had some fun, I guess.
So I'm curious, man. I wonder why is that a thing now? What is that?
I have no idea. I have zero clue. Zero clue.
All right. Yeah. All right. I have no idea. I don't get it. I don't. You know what I mean? So I think I had these conversations before with some of the dudes out here, man. Like, oh man, I don't know about the fingernail polish and all. I know back in the day the rock stars used to do all type of crazy stuff, right? The stuff and whatever, right? Demonic Green B said Gen Z been lost. Yeah, come on now. I know it, man. Them jokers jump on every trend. Every trend.
It's true.
My wife had me. No, that's not gonna happen. Susan said I want to pay.
I'll tell you what, Laura loved doing it for me the other day.
Is she? Okay.
Yeah. So Susan, you might be a big fan if JD would have let you, but I don't think he's gonna let you.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. You know it ain't gonna happen. We'll go like I've gone to the nail salon and go get my dogs, taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Take care of your dogs. Okay, make sure you do that. And so sometimes they be like, you may put some clear paint. I said, man, no, you can buff them jokers out. That's about as far as you're going to get, okay? You could sand it and buff it, but don't, we ain't going to no clear polish and paint. No, sir. So, I got it, man. Look, everybody has their thing, right? I don't know.
Hey, I mean, it's the first time I've ever done it, and I was just having fun with it because it was a flag or playoffs. Guys on the team wanted me to go the full Caleb Williams route and like have the FU whatever, like talk about it because you remember that where he said FUCK Notre Dame when they played them a couple of years ago in USC. Like he actually had like letters on the nails. Like you should have done. I was like, I'm not gonna do that. This is already a stretch. Am I have obscenities on my nails too? Nah.
Yeah, that don't look like you. That's different for you. That
very different vibe.
Very different vibe. Yeah. Oh, no.
Just one coat though. So they should be done by next week, hopefully.
One coat. There you go. One coat. Talked up. Get a little deep when you say it. That's all right. Stanley Mooney said, "We got spirit. How about you?" I'm good, Marcus. I'm good, brother. Hey, hey.
I just had to get it out there because I know someone would have noticed it with me drinking it at some point during the episode. Like, what is that? Was that paint? No.
No. Casey Colossus said, "Can't hate on Gen Z. Cause something." What do you say? Okay.
Can't hate on Gen Z because we had rock stars like JD said.
Yeah. That's and all type of things, man. So. I'm the brand said, okay, JD, when a granddaughter comes up and says, Papa, let me paint your nails, how can you say no? I say, well, look, I tell you what. You can paint my nails. You can do my granddaughter. She want to do like a little bit. I said, well, you can only do one. Okay. All right. Paint one. All right. That'll be enough for me. My fingernails. I like mine clear. That's why I had a conversation with you. Was talking about my family was down here. I know we got to get into some football. And we were talking about different things that, that people get into, like trends and stuff. And like, I'm one of those, I don't have any tats, I don't know, no tats whatsoever. I'm just all natural, and I was just like, look, I get, people have, different things that they do for whatever reason. I said, but for me, if somebody's doing a tat, man, if there's significance behind it, sure. If it's tribal in the way that you're part of that, I get it. I said, but some of these jokers just out here just putting anything on there, man. It's just, I'm like, ain't my cup of tea, man. It's just not. So, but everybody has, their thing, whatever. And they were young. I said, man, you ain't doing it just because you're young. You ain't doing it because it's trendy. Like, don't fall into things just because, it is just a trend on things. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be some deeper meaning for you to do these things. So don't be a follower. You go ahead and, set your things, the way you want.
Yeah, that's the one thing too. Yeah, my nephew from Northern Virginia goes to Western Pennsylvania. He's a good kid. Comes back with a tattoo. I'm like, dude, that's totally not. That's not your personality. I was surprised. I mean, like, and it's nothing bad that he got a tattoo on his body, but I guess it's a young person trend. I mean, tattoos been around for a while, but like, I guess it's a very like now because he got it. And his sister's a senior in high school, and my brother allowed him to do it. He's like, okay, well, I guess we'll let her do it. She's a senior in high school with a tattoo. I was like, I don't know. It's maybe wait for her to go to college and shit, and then she can do it. She still wants to do that. But.
Yeah, you get older. When you get that age, you make a decision, then that's okay. But I ain't ready to pay no money. You in school. Like, ain't nothing going for that.
As long as it's deep enough, if it's a deep meaning, not some like Superman logo, like wait, you Superman? Wait, you got Shaq, what are you doing? I mean, if it's a deep enough meaning, sure, get it on your body. But I mean, to each their own. Yeah, I don't have any tattoos on my body, but everyone's got their own meanings for whatnot.
Yeah, I said, God made a great landscape. You know what I'm saying? What would I do to mess this thing up? You know what I mean?
There you go. That's what my parents always said. You have a beautiful skin, beautiful body. You don't need to get the tattoos on your body. So,
but look, I know people I like tattoos on other people. I think they look good, very talented.
For sure,
they look. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean it's artwork for sure. I mean, it's pieces of art. I mean, some of these tattoo artists they charge an arm and a leg for these tattoos, and they're like murals that they put on people's bodies.
I think Mike Epps said something about like see some woman said that they got a tattoo. Said it had a cat looking all, like rawr, like said it got older, so it looked like a saber tooth. Oh man, so it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, G-Pick, choose a spot. You got a tattoo very wisely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Good deal. Good deal.
All right, so JD, we're gonna get tonight's episode. As you guys can see, we've been getting into we get the receivers, the tight ends. We're doing running backs tonight. We'll get into all that. But JD and I were talking about some of the OTA sound bites that we've heard, and we're gonna get into a lot of this stuff on Wednesday, some of it tonight. But JD wanted to touch a little bit on what Patrick Mahomes had to say about the receiver room. So we're gonna get into that. I know everyone loves talking about the receivers. So we're gonna get into that a little bit before we get into the running backs. So, JD, let's get into what Patrick Mahomes had to say here.
Matt? With the receiver group between the workouts in Texas and getting back here, what kind of stands out to you so far? And what have you kind of learned about maybe some of the new faces that you're throwing to?
We're fast. I think that's probably the things that stand out the most. You talk about Xavier, Rasheed, Hollywood, Thornton, Royals coming in. Like, we got guys that can roll, and our job is to test the defenses down the field, and we have to get back to doing that if we want to open up other guys underneath. So I think Coach Reid's challenged me this offseason to push the ball down the field, let guys have chances to make plays, and then once we get that back to where we want to and our standard that we believe we should have, then we can come back to the underneath stuff.
So, JD, what do you make of what Pat has to say about the wide receiver room, which you and I are both pretty excited about this coming year? It seems like he's pretty excited about it too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. To me, that's a mic drop right there. I mean, what's the difference you could see in this room? That we're really fast, period, point blank. And what he said is, hey, Andy Reid has challenged me to push the ball down the field. And I expect us to do a whole lot of that this year. And I think we're going to see a training camp preseason. I mean, these guys are going at it. The type of work they've been doing down in Texas, then coming up here to OTAs, you understand that their whole mode of operation is we're trying to get deep balls. We're trying to get behind the defense. We get the balls in the hands of the playmakers, and we're going to run right past you, right? And so that's how I feel. That's how I see it. I see Pat and them guys. I mean, they are elated that Rashee Rice is back. He said he's looking as good as ever. Maybe still have a little, things to go, but he said look like Rashee. That's what he said. Tyquan Thornton, now all of a sudden he's part of the deal that we got here. Obviously Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown. I mean, you just start naming folks and you just start talking about speed. I'm telling you right now, Marcus, this sucker looking like, I was looking over some of this video this weekend. This sucker looking like an Olympic track meet. That's what it looks like. And I'm telling you right now, we got speed all around, fast. And we're going to be talking about the guys also, too, that we ain't just talking about the wide receivers that got the speed. We're talking about running backs, too, that got speed as well. So there's going to be a lot of flying around, like you said, man, this coming season. And I'm here for each and everything, all of it. So, yeah, it was that sound bite right there caught my eye. I was like, yep, that's right there. Encapsulates everything as far as what this whole mindset's going to be this season. Speed. That's what it's going to be. What do you think about it? He said, we're going to push the defense. That's what we're going to do. We're pushing the defense. Speed. And so, hey, man, get your horses ready, okay? Because these jokers are coming for all the defenses. And I'm telling you, man, whoever it is, the DBs, secondaries, whoever we play, they are going to be on their heels. I guarantee it. And I'm telling you what, every game I start off with, Marcus, if I'm Andy Reid or Nagy, those guys, I'm going up top at least 5 or 6 times a game, if not 10. You have to. Look, one of the things that we did, and I've seen some videos with this, and didn't really get into it, but, everybody was kind of talking about like, yeah, but the Chiefs throw short passes, which they do. They threw a lot of, underneath, balls, and, Pat hadn't been throwing deep balls like he has in the past. But that's all changed. It's all changed. He's got a whole entire cast around him. Wide receivers, tight end, running backs that can absolutely fly. I'm talking about pick them up, put them down, baby. That's what I'm talking about. And so we're going to see that, man, coming into the training camp. And, some people seen a little bit just as far as like OTAs.
Junior, let me ask you, because you talk about the lack of, that's kind of one thing everyone talks about, is the lack of explosive plays we've had for the last few years with the post Tyreek Hill days of the Chiefs. And now we talk about a wide receiver room that's got a lot of guys who can do a lot of things. You have the Royals Rice aspect, who are guys who are going to kind of eat all over the field. Then you have X, Hollywood, and then Tyquan Thornton, another 240 kind of guy to have. And we saw in the videos, we'll get into more of Tyquan Thornton on Wednesday, because I feel like based on where he is in the depth chart right now, we kind of need to talk about him. But just overall, when you're a defense going into the season, right, obviously we know Pat can do. We know his arm strength. We know what he wants to do. But when we're talking about 2 years kind of removed from that high-powered offenses that we've had in Kansas City, what are opposing defenses kind of how are they game planning for him going into the season? Are they looking at past year body of work? Are they looking at the personnel they have going into the season? Oh, man, they're going to want to throw deep again. Because, last 2 years, we haven't really been doing that. So, how is this going to kind of how's that kind of game plan, opposing defensive coordinators game planning going against us? Because we haven't really been doing that.
You can look at the body of work, but I think what you have to do, that the Chiefs are in a very privileged position because of the type of guys we got around them. They understand what we have, acquired in the draft with Xavier Worthy. We know with Hollywood Brown what he's been able to do. Rashee Rice before he's gotten hurt. Tyquan Thornton, like you were sitting there saying, Royals also in the draft. So I think defenses, they understand, look, these guys are trying to put up points, and we got to be ready. So what is one of the things that you do to negate throwing deep balls? Well, you get after the quarterback, right? That's what you do. And so DeMonte Green Beans brought it up. He's like, well, shoot, we need to protect first. Well, guess what? We just talked about that. We need that, right? We're going to block. Why? because we got guys, and I said this other week, we got starters, okay? We got starters on stopper starters. So our backup is a starter in the league. And so, especially at left tackle, where that was our Achilles heel last year. We know we got a good offensive line. We kept Creed, right? We know we got Suma Taves is probably going to take the left guard position. All right. Jawan Taylor, we're looking for him to do a much better job. Wanye Morris is sitting there waiting in the wind. Then we got Trey. So we're sold up as far as the blocking aspect of the game, what we need to do. If we need to keep somebody in there, then of course, that's what we'll have as far as like with the running backs. Who's going to do that? Well, guess what? We're going to be talking about a guy tonight who decided to pull up his little skinny jeans, man. He started putting a little weight back on, okay? Put a little bit of weight back on. And guess what? We're going to need that because you know what? We need somebody to hit somebody square right there in the mustache, okay, when you come up through the middle. So we're going to have the blocking to get the ball down the field. Blocking have been the worry, right? Does Patrick have enough time? We're going to have enough time. And so what he said is we're going to push everybody deep. Then we're going to look for everybody underneath. Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, Jared Wiley, Bringenstool, the running backs out the backfield, swing routes, angle routes, you name it. What we're going to do is we're going to go at the defenses, bottom line. So,
yeah, I mean, it's going to be exciting, man. Hearing Mahomes talk about that, and I think everyone in the chat kind of said it like Mahomes sounds very determined this year. Because, like, while we get defensive when we hear, as fans, and naturally, we get defensive when we hear people say, oh, Mahomes has lost it, Mahomes is broken. If we're getting defensive about it, can you imagine what he's feeling? He's like, okay, all right. He's doing what JD, look at the pen and writing down notes on who's saying what. Because, Pat's going to go out there, Petty Pat's going to go out there this year, and he wants to show the world, like, look, I'm not broken. I just took the team on a broken season to the Super Bowl. Okay, you guys say I'm done. All right, I'm gonna light you up this year, and I think he's gonna have a really big season. And just based on the talent we have in the room, Rice is back, Royals is now there, Hollywood. Hopefully there's no preseason injury. Now again, injuries can happen, but like hopefully there's no preseason injuries from any of these guys, so we can kind of see what we have with collective unit. And I mean, it's a lot of talent in this room. We saw what Xavier Worthy could do as a rookie, and everyone had questions about, rookies can't do much in the Chiefs offense. Well, he did pretty damn good last year, and year two, another rise. Rashee Rice was leading the league in most categories before he got hurt last year, and then you bring that back into the offense too. So, I mean, like, there's so many weapons now, and Pat, and hopefully this offensive line can hold up for him. And we do have some, like JD said, we do have some pieces there that we've added this offseason that can definitely help.
Yeah, I mean, we got good depth everywhere on the offensive side of the ball. And that's lovely to have. That's lovely to have. It's a problem because you have so many good guys around you. You're like, daggone, man. Like, who are we going to keep? What are going to be the numbers? But I said this, and I'll keep saying this. The number one priority is keep PM15 upright. Everything else is going to work itself out. And guess what? We're going to burn by safeties, corners, linebackers, and you let those jokers hit everybody else over their head. That's it, okay? He just has to facilitate getting the ball to everybody as long as he has time, and I think we're going to be fine. Somebody said something about, I think, King Suma. I think King Suma's going to be good at left guard. I really do. I think he's a young guy that's hungry. I think he's gotten enough under his belt to realize what he needs to do, especially at the left guard spot. So he's a physical guy. Plus, it's going to be easier. Got Creed on the inside, and he's got Simmons or, Jalen Moore on the outside of him. So we should be fine. We should be good. So.
Yeah, and we'll get into more about the offensive line situation. I have a couple of sound bites here that we're going to play on Wednesday talking about the offensive line from Andy Reid. Kind of continuing conversation with the Josh Simmons stuff, as well as his take on Suma in the left guard spot. So we're definitely going to get into all that on Wednesday. But, JD, you mentioned the weight loss, and the people are talking about the weight loss of Isiah Pacheco in the group and in the chat right now. And Andy Reid talked about it.
Weight gain.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Last year, we had the weight loss because he was trying to get skinny. This year, he's putting it back on. So Andy talked about that, and Isiah also talked about his weight gain this past week at the OTAs post OTAs session 1. So here we go.
Isiah Pacheco.
Yeah, he looks good. Physically, he looks real good. He's put on a couple pounds and of good weight. He'd gotten himself down there a little bit last year and leaned up. But man, I think he looks tremendous right now.
Andy mentioned something about the weight that you put on, the good weight that you put on. Just wondering, was that a point of emphasis for you? You kind of take us through the weight that you fluctuated with a year ago?
Absolutely. Just going through injuries. I want to gain weight, be a little more heavier to surpass that, and to get better and build off of this past year's on the field play.
Is there a certain number that you targeted this year that you're at?
Y'all find out that once we get near the games.
I love that he wouldn't say what the number he was targeting at. But JD, I remember last year we talked about, Isiah wanted to slim down. Isiah was doing more receiver type drills in the offseason. He slimmed down to 215 or 212, something pretty low. And I remember we talked about that because he was kind of getting injuries before that. Then he slims down a little bit for his kind of aggressive running style. We were kind of weary about that a little bit. But it seems like he, now that he's going to the opposite way, now he's stacking on some weight to kind of be able to handle the load that he's going to get and, in his aggressive running style, which really I think weight kind of matches more of his running style and what we want from him. But hearing what Andy had to say, hearing what Pop has kind of envisioned himself for this upcoming season, what kind of year, what kind of season are we looking at from Pacheco, and what does this tell you about how they plan on using him with him adding this weight?
I don't know what type of year he's going to have. One thing I do know is that he felt like he needed to gain weight to be effective in this league. And like he said, the first thing he brought up was injury. And so one thing that you need to understand is you got to put on muscle to play in this league, especially at certain positions. 205, I think it was where he played at last year, maybe somewhere. And he might have felt a little bit light. But, hey, Greg and those guys look, we're going to let you play and see how you feel with it, right? And so he felt like he was lighter, he was quicker. But also, too, what they're asking him to do, he realized, you know what? Maybe I need to be a little bit more bulky, a little bit more stronger, okay? And so when Andy said he was lean, he's talking about packing on muscle. He's about 10 pounds of muscle. He looks like it in the face, man. That joker right there looked like a superhero. And I'm sitting there thinking like, he's serious. He's serious. But I think that's what it takes, especially when you get hit. You're going to get punished more than anybody else. Running backs get hit more than anybody else out there on the field, okay? Because they get the football and 11 guys are trying to kill him. So he understands he's going to be taking some punishment, especially if he's running the football. And if you want to be a 3-down back, which Pacheco wants to be. So it ain't just we're talking about right now, Marcus. We're talking about in the future, whatnot. How do you feel? How do teams look at you? And so if you're running around at 205, 20, whatever, less than that, teams are like, hey, man, we got guys to do that. We need somebody, 215, solid muscle that's going to get that third down for us. That's what we need to do. And so maybe he feels that way where last year he wasn't able to get the third down like he needed. Guess what? They regulated that to who? Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt was like, okay, I'll take that part of it. Or Carson Steele. Hey, man, Pacheco don't want to come off the field. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's competitive. That's what we do. We compete in the NFL. And so he's like, if this 215 gives me another opportunity to have the ball in my hands, so be it. So be it. I can still catch the ball out the backfield. Nothing's wrong with that. But being at 215, I could be more effective. And to be honest with you, I agree with it. That'd cut down on injuries a lot for him.
Well, I remember last year we talked about that being a kind of interesting choice for him to do that because the injuries he already kind of suffered. He already had the torn labrum at that point, and now he's wanting to lose more weight. He's catching balls out of the backfield, and I get it. Starting to be light a little bit so he can kind of be that third down back, right? So he didn't have to call the field for Jerick McKinnon, right, for that type of guy. And he wanted to be that, and he got hurt early on in the season last year. And I saw a G-Pick in the comments said something interesting. How much he saw Kareem Hunt come right off the couch after eating Cheetos, come off the couch and come in and be a guy right away and eat when he was out. And Kareem Hunt looked kind of thick, kind of stacked a little bit. And how much do you think that kind of influence of having Kareem Hunt in the RB room kind of helped him? And Kareem's always been kind of a thicker guy, much more thick than Pacheco. How much do you think that kind of influence can have on a young buck?
I think it had a lot of influence, especially when you start seeing the type of work that he's getting, right? And so, like I said, when you start pointing to somebody like, I need you in on third down, he's like, okay, I see what's going on here. He's built more for it. So Pacheco's sitting there saying, I want those reps. I want to be that guy. I want to score touchdowns. If we down within inside the 10-yard line, I don't want him sitting there and bringing Kareem Hunt in. I want to be that dude. And then, like I said, that's just competitive nature in him. So Kareem, which is, you know, a lot older than Pacheco, and he's sitting there saying, like, look, man, you know, hey, in this league, you're going to make your money making guys miss, or you might have to run over a joker or two, right? You can't be, as a running back, get tackled by one guy. There's no money there for that. It's not. Those guys are dime a dozen, and they don't last long. If you're talking about maybe swing pass, cool. Okay, guess what? Now I don't have to run around a guy. I'm going to run over him, put my shoulder down, because they'll feel every bit at 215. He run behind his pads, they'll feel at 215 more than they will at 205, right? That's just physics. That's just what that is. Kareem Hunt, Pacheco, watching the type of work that he got, absolutely influenced him to say, hey, look, maybe this needs to be a little bit different of the things I need to do. So
that's a really interesting way of looking at it, JD. I love that. I agree, because it wasn't just like, you know, Kareem Hunt took him under his wings, like, no, you need to do this to gain weight in the offseason. It was more the competitive nature of it. He saw firsthand what Kareem Hunt was doing with that kind of weight and kind of the thickness that he has. So, you know, I could do that, and, you know, I could be the guy who's getting those touchdowns on the short yard stuff. So it wasn't so much like Kareem Hunt's like, let me tell you how to do it. It was more like, I'm seeing them witnessing from my firsthand, and I don't want to come off the field in that. So it's a competitive thing. I love that. That's great. I didn't even think about that aspect of it.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, man, it's all about production in the league. Who's playing, right? Hey, somebody, man, anybody can watch from the sideline. Shoot, you can watch from the sideline. Go and get your ticket. Sit on up there in the stands. Do that. Or do you want to be out there on the field trying to make a difference? And so what you start realizing is, man, if I got somebody here that's doing exactly the same thing that I'm doing or better, guess what? I'm going to be shuffled up out this way. I'm out of this joker, right? And so you start thinking, man, hey, man, look, put us both in and let me have some of that work, and you see what I could do with it. But if the coach ain't even looking towards you because he sees the other guy, and the other guy has the body type and all those different things, he's going to get the work. That's how it is, Marcus. That's just what it is, brother. So it's the same thing we talked about, like tight ends, right? Okay, real quick on the tight ends. Now, Travis is going to drop weight. He's dropped weight, okay? Travis is going to be on the road more so, probably catching footballs, as opposed to like what he was doing last year and blocking. I'm sure that wore him down a little bit. But he felt like he needed to get lighter. I'm not saying I don't know where he is right now and how big he had gotten during our season, but at least he was sitting there saying, I'm going to be in some shape. I'm going to be lean to do the things I need to do, right? Don't carry anything extra. Let me regulate that to maybe Noah Gray and somebody else doing those things, okay? Same thing like Drake Bringenstool, Jerry Wiley, more thinner frame tight ends. We're not asking him to lead up in a gap. We're not asking him to do that. We need y'all to widen out to catch the footballs. We got the dude from who's that? Texas A&M,
Trey Watson.
Yeah, got him, and then you got Robert Tonyan, and then you got Noah Gray. Who's going to take the reps when we need to get a yard? When it boils down to it, I can't put somebody here who got like tail over here, you know what I mean? Whose butt is sitting over here looking as thin as glass. I can't put you in. You can't hold up. I need a sucker to come in that's going to light somebody straight up. And you need to bring something with you. So it's always about the tool that you're going to utilize, right? Isiah Pacheco understands he's a tool that's going to be utilized. What are you going to have me doing? So that's it. What up, Newt? Look at Newt that came in here, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we haven't seen Newt in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Newt, hope you're doing well down there, brother. And down under.
Yeah, and
England, right? Where's he at? One of those, right?
Wales, right? The big LRZ fan. I think so.
All right.
I think so. Well, it's also interesting too that like, you know, last year he wanted to be more that receiver back role, so he lost weight, right, to kind of not stay off the field on the third down, right? So now he's brought that weight on to just kind of be more of a bell cow kind of guy. And it's interesting too because in this offseason, we retained Kareem Hunt, but the other guys we got, Eli Mitchell and Brashard Smith, who we'll get into in a little bit here. Those are guys who are probably going to be more of those third down back kind of guys. So you know what? You guys got guys for that. Let me take away the early down carries and be that guy. And like you said with Travis Kelce, it's like, you know, my last year here, I want to be more of the receiving type of threat. I want to kind of save all my energy for that instead of being on the inline trying to block and go in the B gaps and whatnot. So like he's kind of etched into the role that he wants to be this year and kind of, you know, let the third down guy be Brashard Smith or Eli Mitchell, whoever, and let me just kind of get the first and second down carry. So it's interesting that it's kind of it's a shift from last year and kind of going into this role.
Yeah, no, that's well said because that is so important. You have to have that mindset. And so, as much as I like Carson Steele, you won't have to bring Carson Steele in. You don't want to have to see the fullback dive. You know when you start bringing you, like, here comes the fullback dive. Here we go. So you just kind of get away from that, and you just like, let me be the guy. Let me be the man. Okay, I'll run behind my pass, get the yard or two that you need, maybe run over somebody, and I can run around somebody too. So the good thing is, Marcus, is he's a year older. He has another year under his belt. So he's starting to understand what it takes to play in this league. Okay, and that's what you start figuring out, man. The young dude, man, you start figuring out real quick what the pecking order is and how you get there. So
I will say, and also too, you know, you're older, but with our offense and with the injuries he's had, not a lot of wear and tear as far as like getting a lot of carries, right? Injuries, yes, wear and tear there, but as far as like the wear and tear and the amount of carries you're not getting that many in this offense. And he's also been hurt a lot, so he hasn't been getting a lot of carries in general. So there's not a lot of wear and tear on Pacheco.
Yeah, man, but that's the one coat you don't want to wear, that you're injured a lot. You don't want to wear that. That's the tag you don't want. Because as soon as you start saying that, man, teams will start getting off of you just in case you go on free agency and whatnot. Oh, man. Well, we like him. He looks good. Yeah, but he always hurt. You don't want that, man. It's not a good place to be, especially in this league. Sorry. So
yeah, I agree.
Sasha says she's here for story time.
All right, so JD, you mentioned some of these guys we're talking about, so we're gonna get to the running back room as it is. Here we go. Let's get the proper. There you go. Situated. All right, so we got Isiah Pacheco. These are guys who are returning right now, so we'll get to the full list later. So these are guys who are returning from the running back room. We got Isiah Pacheco. We just talked about Kareem Hunt, Carson Steele. So these are the three guys who are returning. JD, when you kind of mention, because Carson Steele is interesting, he's a fullback, right? Running back, but really they have him at fullback. When we look at the guys who are returning, I think Pacheco and Kareem Hunt are locks. I think Carson Steele is kind of more relegated to a guy who they got rid of Anthony Sherman a couple of years ago. We don't need the other fullback role. And you brought Carson Steele last year, who filled in when needed when we kind of went down to emergency situations. But I think of these three guys, I think Carson Steele is going to have a hard time making the roster just based on the amount of running backs who are in that room. I know he's a fullback, but because of how many running backs we have that are talented, I don't see them carrying the fullback where it's something that they've already been okay with eliminating in the past. That's where I stand with it. What are your thoughts on that?
You know what I told you about as far as having that extra blocker? It might not be the tight end. It could be Carson Steele. Could be the guy. Depends on how they want it. If he becomes a better pass blocker, that might be his role. So I wouldn't say that we offer him by no means. I don't. I think it all depends on what it's going to look like as far as in training camp, how everybody's going to look then. And believe me, they're going to test it out. They're going to test out, a few plays to see, okay, does it work better with Carson Steele or tight end here? How's it going to look? And so what we need to understand too, Marcus, is people are going to be coming after us. And they're going to bring four. Four used to get home on us. Okay, and they'll do some more of that before getting home and whatnot. But what do you do to take them out of that? You run the daggone football, right? So yeah, Pacheco, gain another 10 pounds. Why? Because we're gonna hand the ball off to you. Because we're gonna get them out of that, 7-man coverage. We're gonna get them out of that. So now what you have to do is you have to come after it some way. And guess what? That's when we start road grading. So we got to be effective running the football. The way we're going to be able to beat teams down the field, we got to be able to push the ball down the field, but we got to be effective running the ball first. So the guys up front ain't just for pass blocking. It's them make sure that we gain some yards too, Marcus. So I'm not going to say Carson Steele's out of this by no means. You know what I mean? Not at all.
No, for sure. I mean, again, like you talked about in the past, the Sky Moore thing, there's a reason why he was rostered in the first place, right? But I will say, comparatively this year to what we had last year in that room, running back and fullback room, I feel like there is a lot more talent and a lot of more kind of, with Kareem Hunt kind of, complicates things, right? Because you have another guy who's been awesome in the offense, been great. You bring Eli Mitchell on. We'll talk about the new faces. But yeah, I do say he has a leg up on some of the young bucks that we're going to talk about later. But
I'm writing I'm writing the numbers down now. I'm going through the numbers. I'm just like, okay.
It's tough.
So,
it's gonna be tough. So we like a lot of the guys in the tight end room, even. Yeah, there's just a lot of good. I mean, I'll say this: Brett Veach has done an admirable job because this is probably one of the better top to bottom rosters that we've had, and we're talking about a team that's won multiple Super Bowls over the last 7 years, and this is probably one of the better top to bottom rosters that I've seen. And just looking at our 90 man, which is pretty impressive.
So I look at it like this. Here's just right off the top of my head. I think we carry 7 wide receivers, 4 tight ends, 5 running backs, 2 QBs, and 8 O linemen. I think that's where we're going to be at. Possibly 9.
You said 4. You said 4 tight ends.
Yeah. 4
Okay.
tights. I think 4 tight ends. That's what I look at right now. So what's that? 11, 16, 18, and 8. There's 26 total on offense. So I think 8 linemen, 8 or 9. You could do 9, right? So
Interesting. That's an interesting number breakdown there. Yeah, I mean, the running back one's going to be the interesting one with the Carson Steele, if they do keep him, if they do decide to keep him. Because I'm curious, when we get to the new face, I'm curious, we get to the end of this, I'm curious which ones you're gonna keep, which ones you're not. But JD, talk about the Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, right? We saw Kareem Hunt come in, dominate. Even when Pacheco came back last year, it was seemed like Kareem Hunt was the guy who had the juice. And I don't know, maybe Pacheco came back from his injury. It was a pretty bad injury. Yeah, the broken ankle, I believe that's what it was, broken ankle, or fracture ankle.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it takes some time to come back from that, especially the high level professional football we're talking about. But Kareem Hunt was the guy when they had both dudes out there. Kareem Hunt was the one who had the juice. When we talk about who's going to be the feature back in this offense, I don't think when we talk about feature back, we're not talking about the days when you were playing where the guy was getting 25 totes or when Kareem Hunt was our main guy last year getting 25, 26 carries. I think the feature back, right, more 12 to 13 carries in this offense. But how do you think the split's going to be between Kareem Hunt and Pacheco? Do you think it's going to be as 50-50 as like a lot of fans want it to be, or do you think it's going to be more of like Pacheco's the guy and then Kareem Hunt's going to spell him every so often on first and second down? How do you think that's going to be between the two of them?
If a guy's eating, man, you let him eat. And then, of course, you just give him a break. I think if you keep these two guys, fresh, I don't see why they wouldn't be more balanced. And, if he's doing well, then you let him run the rock. I mean, it's just how it goes. You let him get into a rhythm, and then, we see how it's going to work out. But having those two guys, Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, man, we're in a great position. We are. They're 2 good backs in this league. I think that's why Pacheco kind of figured, like, look, if I want, the meat of this thing, right, the lion's share of the carries and whatnot in here, then I'm going to have to bulk up for that, okay? Because after a while, man, you start getting a fast dude in the back, man, it's kind of redundant, right? You need, like, somebody feed the beast. You need some big boys back there, man, tote their rock, Marcus. Period. Point blank, man. Period. Point blank. Sorry. So I think it's also too about, like you said, time of possession. So we need to sustain some drives. It's good to go out there and score touchdowns, go over the top. But what ends up happening is we start playing in the hands of the defense. And what's going to sustain drives is running the ball. You got to run it down their throats. I just happened, I was looking, cleaning out my office, and I got the paper from when we played the Ravens on Monday Night Football. And on the front page, it said, not done yet. It was me doing the little pose, against the Ravens and stuff. And I was reading the articles by all the sports writers and whatnot. I was like, man, this is interesting just to, hear their point of view. And you know what we decided? They would kept saying from us and our offense was we were going to run straight at Ray Lewis. That's what we wanted to do. Teams have been daring the Chiefs to run the football for the past few years, and we decided we wanted to go different. I get us wanting to do what we do best, right? We have the best quarterback in the business to throw the ball down the field, but sometimes we need to just hand that ball off, man. Sometimes we need to just do that because it helps him out. It helps our whole offense out. So, and why I'm saying this is because sometimes we just need to run the daggone football straight at him. Seriously. Bottom line. And I think we took away from Kareem Hunt having a hell of a year. We took that away from him toward the end. Same thing with Pacheco. We just kind of, I don't know. I didn't like a direction. I think we're going to see a little bit different coming in this year, though. Seriously. I think Andy and those guys understand that we had to run the football effectively, right? So, hey.
For sure.
Chiefs fan 2211 said we always needed to just pound that peel. No question about it. Chiefs fan 211. No question, man. And that was so frustrating for us to see. Last year's like, what the heck? Why aren't we running the daggone ball? Why aren't we doing it? And it was frustrating. Frustrating to see. And the Chiefs like, nope, we're going to do what we do well. Okay, I got it. I get it. But sometimes the practical thing to do right here, like this, that's all it needs to be. I like how my guns look right there. That's what I do.
The tries look good, yeah.
Yeah, right. But that's all you had to do, Marcus. Hey, let Pat do that. Okay? Then over the top. That's it, man. Sometimes football can be so simple, man. We make it more complex than what it needs to be. So
yeah, that's one thing that Andy likes to get cute sometimes. It's like you don't need to do that. Just run it. Like we get to red zone. It's like what are you doing these like double reverses? Just get the ball to Pacheco or Kareem. Yeah. No, I mean that's interesting. I mean, so you essentially say just going to the season kind of with the hot hand approach. If Pacheco's eating, feed Pacheco. Hunt's eating, feed Hunt. That's kind of way you'd ride the running back room.
Right, and sometimes that just happens to be the tempo of what you're doing. Right, just has to be. So, Newt says, "Sexy Jason." Thank you, Newt. I appreciate you. Yeah, but Mike Brennan said it. That Tampa Bay Super Bowl, the whole D line was asking online, "Why y'all even running the ball? We're not even trying to stop the run." Been a reader forever. Got to take the good with the bad, no question. This is one of the things that they hated Andy about. I won't say hate. I don't want to use hate, but they disliked some of the things about Andy in Philadelphia. Was they knew that he was not going to run the ball enough. And I'm hearing it from Philly fans, y'all got Andy's never going to run the ball. I'm like, man, he'll run it when he needs to. Oh, so sometimes, man.
And the short passes to the running backs Westbrook used to eat in the offense. That was like, count as part of the running game, right? Little quick screens,
right. Yeah, part of the running game. But is it really? I mean, especially if they sitting back there waiting in coverage and they know what you're going to do. Well, how you do it, just have somebody covering the flat, have somebody covering the back, just make them come up here and make the tackle. So,
yeah, that's always a rationalizations for like the offenses like that or like the air raid offense. It's like, well, the short pass to the slots that acts as a running game. Like, does it?
Yeah, you can say that, but ain't nothing like, hey, man, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That's old Priest saying that, baby. Shoot. Hey, sometimes if they rushing 4 or 5, straight at them. That's what you do. Straight at them. You make them safeties and everybody come up. Make them come up in the box. Make them do that. Okay? You force them to come up and make tackles. Then you could hit them over the head deep. So, Jason Tarbox, T. Rich, Sherman, and Jason Dunn, they need guys like that if they want to beast of a running game. Yeah. Shoot.
They don't make 49s and number 89s like that anymore.
Don't make them like that no more, Jason. Appreciate it, my brother. But they have guys in here that love to block. We were saying this all last year, Marcus. We said the offensive line wants to block.
Yeah.
Why are we putting them on skates?
Yeah.
Joe Tooney, man, why are we doing that? And all of a sudden we start seeing guys pulling, getting knocked back, and you start softening up our O-line when you start doing those things. Okay. And he knows this. He's an old lineman. Okay. He understands these things. And sometimes you got to give the big boys up front something to eat. Let them go hunt and go get it. Let them go get it. I get pissed off just thinking about it. Like, that, God.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Chiefs fan 211. Right. No lie, we kind of ran the ball more with Williams. Actually, that's last year. There was that streak that we talked about in the show a bunch of times where I think there was 4 or 5 back-to-back games where Kareem Hunt had 20 plus carries. Chiefs running back hadn't done that since Larry Johnson. So there was a point last year where they kind of went to Kareem Hunt a lot, and it was the most consecutive 20 plus carry games for Chiefs running back since Larry Johnson. So I mean, they did kind of go to Kareem Hunt big time last year.
Yeah, and everybody wants to look sexy, right? We want to go up top all the time. But for Pat, he said, and he's going to challenge me to do those things. So that means he'll pick and choose when to throw the deep ball, and that could come at any time. First down, bombs away. 2nd and 2. Bombs away. But guess what? 3rd and 5, sometimes we need to hand that joker off. Go on and give it to him, okay? Hit somebody right there underneath the chin strap. That changes things. I'm like, uh-oh. Yeah, well, this ain't the Chiefs no more. They're unpredictable. So.
Yeah. I mean, it should be interesting, though. I'm curious to see what they do with the splits between the two of them. Now they have both Kareem, a full year of training camp, a full year of playing weight, just kind of being in shape for the season. Because we picked him off the couch in the middle of the season. Like we rose him up fast because we needed somebody in the backfield because we couldn't kind of rely on Carson Steele right away. We needed him, and he came in and did his thing. So, and I'm happy he's back. I know he still gets crapped off for having his yards per carry wasn't being sexy. It's like, no, I mean, if you watch the games, you saw what he was doing was productive. It wasn't like we were just giving it to him and he was getting like nothing. He was getting a lot of hard yards, earned yards, which helped us out big time, especially when we were depleted with a lot of the weapons we had on offense.
Yeah. I mean, so just like Justin Blackwell said, everything was circumstance last year. It just seemed like it.
For sure.
We wasn't determining what we were going to do. We in a situation we had to like, okay, now how do we respond to it? It was like, you don't want to be there. That's not where you want to be. Okay, you want to dictate what exactly you are doing to the defense, and I think it's what Patrick was sitting there saying in the video before. It's from one just coming in. He was sitting there saying, Andy's challenging him. They're gonna push the ball down the field. And they mean from everybody on offense. So not only is he challenging Pat, I'm sure is challenging Andy. Okay? And nagging, I guarantee he's challenging like, hey, man, look, we can do much better. We can. So.
Yeah. And you mentioned some of the guys that kind of pushing the ball down the field a little bit from the other guys. Well, there's some guys we brought in this year that we could potentially do that with. So the new faces in the running back room. So you guys have mentioned Quaylon Jones was the running back from, I believe, Baylor. Look at the Chiefs roster. If you look at their transactions, you look at the roster, he's nowhere on that roster. So if you guys go to the Chiefs website, Quaylon Jones is not a part of that running back room, and he's not on the active roster right now. Because that's the complete list. The UDFAs we've signed, all that. So Quaylon Jones is not there. So, yeah, I don't know what they did with that signing, but he's not on their roster right now. So new faces to the room. Elijah Mitchell from San Francisco 49ers, who, had some flashes there, and then he got hurt, and they traded for CMC, and the rest is history for Eli Mitchell. Brashard Smith, SMU, wide receiver to running back. And then Elijah Young, new guy, 5'10". This guy's Western Kentucky guy, JD. So great state of Kentucky, baby. So JD, new faces. We obviously talked about what we have right in the room. We have Pacheco, we have Hunt, we have guys who are bell cow types. Now with these guys, I would say Elijah Young's probably more in that realm, kind of thicker, 5'10", about 195. And then you have Elijah Mitchell and Brashard Smith, two burners. Eli's obviously had some injuries, so he may not be as fast as his 40 time would show. But Brashard Smith is a whole lot of speed. As we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, Louis Riddick calls him Alvin Kamara. I've seen some people call him James Cook a little bit. But we have some speed with these new faces. Now, JD, when you look at the new faces, what first comes to mind when you see some of these guys here and how they can fit in the offense?
I think these are the guys that you regulate the speed stuff to, right? The pitches and the sweep, new set of sweep, some of the outside zone. These guys for that, okay? Open field, throw the ball, let them get a nice little swing route, and then let them cook. Every single one of these guys right here can fly. Every single one of them. And so that's what I see the difference on this is here you got the guys, you brought all the man-at-arms, the hammerheads in the front, Marcus, who can kind of do it all. You're 3 down backs. These guys right here are kind of like, specialty guys, right? You're not asking them to come in and block as much. You want them to catch the ball out the backfield, one-on-one with a linebacker, open field, get the ball in their hands, and then let them cook. That's what you're doing. So that's the difference with this group and this group right here that I'm seeing right now. But Elijah Mitchell, we understand what he was. I think Joker ran like a 4.28. I think when he came out, that's
fast as heck.
Oh my gosh! Now he's not that guy anymore because of the injuries, but I'm sure he's still freaking fast. Okay, Brashard Smith, we already know. Now look, I love Louis Riddick. Love him. I love some of his takes. I actually do. I probably agree with Louis Riddick more than anybody else as far as on TV because he's sensible. He understands. He can play ball. He knows what he's talking about, right? Alvin Kamara? Hey. I tell you what. He's got to show that. And I will believe it when I see it. Not saying he don't have that ability because we know he can fly. He's got incredible speed. He can catch footballs because he played receiver. He can do all those things. At SMU, look great. The thing is, in the NFL, it's a little bit different. Can he turn to Alvin Kamara? That still waits to be seen. Okay? I'm waiting to see it. Lewis, I hope you're right. Hope you're right, brother. So we'll just have to see how that is going to play out. Okay? Elijah Young. I see Western Kentucky had a ton of yards down there. All-purpose. I think it led the team in all-purpose yards. Young, great back. I think he's a dude, man, that he's going to find his way. He's going to find his way. And from what all things that's been said, he's a workhorse. If he's a workhorse, he comes in, he comes play. He's going to put some pressure on some guys. He is. So he could be a guy that you can look to get suited on the practice squad. That's how you look at this. So, yeah, Marcus, we'll just have to see. We're going to see if those young bucks could put out an older guy like Elijah Mitchell. That's the job they're coming for. Seriously, that's the job they're coming for, Elijah Mitchell. If he's got anything what he had before, that juice, he's going to make it hard on him. He ain't going to make it easy. Believe that.
And we've seen this in the past. A couple of off seasons ago, we signed Ronald Jones. In the same year, we ended up drafting Pacheco. And what happened? Ronald Jones didn't make the roster. He was cut. We signed him back, and then we cut him again. But Ronald Jones was that veteran we brought. It was he didn't look bad with Tampa. It's like, okay, well, Eli Mitchell didn't look bad in San Francisco. He's had injuries, but that's why with this, last few weeks we've done locks and who's not locks. This was kind of tough. I had returning faces and I had new faces because I don't know who's going to be. Eli Mitchell is not a lock, and especially with the contract that he got. That doesn't indicate a lock contract at all by any means. So that's Yeah, that's also the interesting thing there. Brashard Smith, like we talked about, right? Well, we hope that he's Alvin Kamara. I don't know if he's going to be Alvin Kamara. That's a Pro Bowl running back. And I posted a video on our channel from our conversation on Wednesday about that, and people were like, "Oh, we want to be excited about this." Yeah, we're excited about Brashard Smith. It's just that it's unfair to label a 7th round running back as Alvin Kamara, and hope they can use him like that.
What happened now? You said people were saying.
I posted a segment from when someone asked us a question last week about the James Cook comparison to Brashard Smith, and we talked about that. And I just put because we kind of talked about. You said pump the brakes on the comparisons because we're comparing him to a Pro Bowl running back, and some people got mad and say, "Oh, we want to be excited about that." We're not saying not to be excited about it. Be excited about the guy without comparing him to a Pro Bowl running back. Hey, man. Two different things there. You can be excited, but not compare him to a Pro Bowler. It's unfair for a 7th round pick.
Yeah, we ain't talking about just a Pro Bowl. We're talking about one of the best running backs we've seen in the past 10 years. Alvin Kamara. I mean, like, seriously, did we like double threat? Like, we talking about a problem out there on the field. Alvin Kamara. We excited if he is that. Heck, sure, we want him to be. Hey, believe me, we want Brashard Smith to be Alvin Kamara or better, and then some.
Yeah.
The thing is, sometimes, and we talk about this all the time, and I say this to you all, sometimes it's unfair when we start putting guys, tagging them with these names on it. Because sometimes you start having these expectations, and sometimes we need to temper those. Because it's like, man, he ain't Alvin Kamara. Next thing you know, you want to kick him off the team. Because he's not that. Yeah, man, I thought he was, hey, man, look, let me get his feet wet. How about that? Let him get some playing time. So I want to see him strive. I want him to do well. I hope he is everything they are saying he is and will become. We are the first ones. You got to hear first. I'm saying that. I want him to be everything that they are saying. Louis Riddick, yes, I want him to be that. But he got to show it. I got to see it first, man. Missouri, show me state, right? That's what it showed me.
Exactly.
So, let's see it, man. Let's see it.
Justin Blackwell, we talked about that last week as well. Justin Blackwell saying Smith grew up a running back. He switched late into high school into college. Very different. You only had 1 year of college running back, which is very different from the high school and the youth league days. And now you're going from college 1 year to that learning curve to learning to be an NFL running back. Because JD, guys who are 4-year stars of running backs still have to learn to be an NFL running back. It's a step above what they're learning to be a running back in college.
Some of them suckers ain't making it.
Right?
Hey, man, look, I heard somebody was talking about running backs at Alabama. And some of them jokers out the league. Why? Because they ain't make the transition like you thought they were going to make. Okay? There's always ones out there that don't make it. We hoping he does. I want to see it. I want to see the flashiness, him being able to make people miss. He has that ability. We know that. He's fast. He's elusive. And I hope he makes that transition quicker than later. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about pre-draft. It's one of the running backs we wanted. And, sure, do we know he's going to be Alvin Kamara? No, I hope he is and more than Alvin Kamara. But what it is, he can present a lot of matchup nightmares to opposing defenses because the guy has a receiving ability. You can motion him out. You can do a lot with him with his skill set that the other guys we talked about tonight don't have. He has that in his bag where the other guys don't have that. So if it does work out, amazing. This is one of the steals of the draft if it does work out because what he can do. And like we talked about pre-draft, not many teams have the luxury of being able to take a guy like this. We have the creativity on our offense to be able to bring a guy along like this. And quite frankly, I think it's a great place for him. I think this would be one of the running backs for me that makes the team. Curious to see how JD has it laid out here in a little bit when we look at the who's going to make it and who's not. Our super early projection, our June 2nd projection. But yeah, I think Brashard Smith presents a lot of matchup nightmares and a really fun tool and a Swiss Army knife, as many of you guys are saying in the chat, that he can give us some big time upside on the offense. And Elijah Young, man, 5'9", 199, ran a 4.40. And that's pretty stacked and pretty fast, man.
Who's that? You talking
about? Elijah Young.
Yeah.
5'9", 198, 4.40. And 4.4 flat, too.
I went to just the what the NFL was talking about, NFL.com strength and weaknesses, right? On what they were saying about Brashard Smith. Okay, now you can take them with a grain of salt. You know, it's always different people's opinions and evaluations. You know, so strengths: fresh legs at only 253 career carries, very good stop and start quickness when probing, above average ability to get to the smoothest path on interior runs. Okay, above average. Processes second level quickly to spin around and sidestep defenders. Former wideout with outstanding hands and ball skills. Able to line up and run a variety of routes from the slot, and showed off kick return and punt return talent during his career at Miami. Okay, now weaknesses: below average size to take on a heavier workload. Runs with a little too much hesitation in his approach. Has a tough time outrunning pursuit to the corner. Requires better understanding to read and set up block development. Below average leg drive to break through arm tackles, and doesn't offer up enough effort in pass protection. So there's somewhat of a contradiction in some of these things, right? Oh, he's doing this great, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, he can't do this. Well, we're going to find out. And so, Marcus, I will hold my opinion. I think Bashar Smith is incredible talent. I want to see him in training camp. That's going to be the determining factor to see how you make it, you know, when you get up here to the NFL.
Yeah.
You know?
100%. I'm 100% with you. And yes, a lot of those scouting reports. I remember when we were doing our draft shows, and I was prepping for it and stuff. There were so many contradictory statements, especially one scout saying one thing about a guy, the other one saying the opposite. It's like, wait, what are we talking about here? Yeah, the scouting reports for the pre-draft stuff was very interesting. But nonetheless, JD and I are both excited about Bashar Smith's potential. We just don't know if he's Alvin Kamara. But I will say Louis Riddick is tapped in with the Chiefs, and maybe they're planning to use him like an Alvin Kamara. Maybe they have future plans for that for him. So that could be something too. But being utilized as a guy doesn't make you that next Alvin Kamara, and that's very different. No,
that's a fact. That's a fact. Justin Blackwell said, need to run more RPOs. We need more set plays on the running plays. I don't mind RPOs. I think RPOs is okay, but I think we need more set run plays. Okay, so it's determined, like we know we're going to run either trap or you know, belly, whatever we want to do, counters, you know, whatever it may be. Okay, if it's just straight, you know, bob, back on back, however it may be. Sometimes you just got to run downhill, inside, outside zone, mid zone. I like those. But Bashar Smith should be a guy that should be able to have, like, I think Samuel might have said, that vision. So,
yeah, Samuel also says you have to have the threat of a running play for the RPO to work, which is
absolutely
spot on.
Right, exactly. That's the point. Yeah. So you can sit there and say, "Oh, you run RPOs." Well, shoot, they ain't falling for it. They like, shoot, they ain't running the ball. Yeah, Demetrius, yeah, that's better when you run the ball. Exactly. Exactly. You know.
Yeah, don't give them an option. Just run it.
Yeah, that plays. Then everything else works from that point. Now you got to establish a run first. Like you got to establish a run. Establish a run. Do it early. So then boy got muscles on muscles, and if he has the hair on his chest, he'll make a lane in this league. Yes, he will.
And all right, so now we're gonna go to our final thing. So okay. So JD, you said 5 running backs and fullbacks will be carrying. So now it's based on your June 2nd prediction right now. Who would be the 5 guys you would take just based on what we know right now?
Based on what we know right now, if I'm doing 5 guys, Pacheco, Hunt, Bashar Smith, Elijah Mitchell, and then Carson Steele.
That's the 5 you're keeping right now?
Pacheco, Hunt, Mitchell, Smith, and Steele. Yes.
All right. So Steele makes the cut. Yeah. Okay. So when you said earlier you were going to go with 5, I thought that Bashar Smith was going to be a practice squad guy. I thought you were going to keep Actually, no, that makes sense. So 4 RBs and then 1 fullback. So 5.
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. I mean, from what I know, and that's what, like I said, Elijah Young, he was going to put in some work to unseat to be in that room. But that's a good 5 right there. Pacheco, Hunt, Mitchell, Smith, and Carson Steele. Carson Steele is, he creates his value obviously on special teams. That's another thing when you had to have a guy like this. Carson Steele's a solid guy. He is. He's shown that his rookie year that they could trust him enough. Put it that way.
Yeah, he definitely has the trust of the coaching staff, even despite all the fumbles he had and everything. But Jenny, the one thing that it's interesting to me.
Oh, Marcus done hit him.
What?
Gut punch. Oh.
Well, no, I'm just saying, because you have to have trust in your coaching staff in order for because a lot of people, he's an undrafted guy, right? To do away with him. You've seen guys. We've seen guys that the Patriots have 5 touchdowns the next day. He's late for a plane. He's off the team. It doesn't matter what you do. But the fact they still kept him on the roster with that just tells you, how they feel about him. But my question is, and I've seen some people in the chat say this about Carson Steele, right? He's a fullback. He's a running back fullback hybrid. But the one thing I do want to see from my fullback, and that's something we didn't see from him last year, and that was seeing we saw Mahomes yell at him, not yell at him, but say something to him during games where he was kind of getting punked out there as kind of being a blocker for Mahomes next to him. And obviously, undrafted guy, he still has a lot of time to kind of become that guy, become that fullback. But that's something I want to see more from my fullback. I want him to kind of be a guy who you're going to put out there. Having him next to Mahomes, no one's going to touch him. Not a soul's going to touch him. And we saw him get blown up a few times last year. I know he's not a natural fullback. I know he's more of a running back who were kind of making him be a fullback. I want to see more. I want to see more grit from my fullback.
I don't remember that. I don't draw my memory of Pat getting on him. I don't remember something like that happening.
It was one of the games before the Kareem Hunt show began. Really, it was when he was and maybe you could talk to this a little bit more, JD. Like maybe he was getting a little bit too much on his plate at a certain point. Plays happen, right? Guys get beat on plays. That's not indicative of everything, but I do want. For me, I want my fullback to be a kind of a road grader, kind of a gritty kind of guy. And he's not that. He's got more skill than your normal fullbacks.
Absolutely,
we're talking about. He's got a little bit more to his game.
Yeah.
But for me, I just want my fullback to be kind of more of your guy who you're gonna put next to Pat. He's gonna protect the heck out of him.
Well, you can't be afraid. You can't be unsure of yourself. And maybe what Pat was like, "Hey man, snap out of it. Like you're playing in you're in the big leagues now. You don't have the luxury to think about a play and what you're not going to do, not be confident. You're here. People are hurt. You need to come in and you need to come play. And maybe it's just, them yell, I won't say yelling, but maybe just, hey, like step it up, right? We've all had that conversation before. I've had a conversation before. So, my difference was I was yelling back.
And Craig Carson was just taking it.
Yeah. Well, who are you talking to? Oh, you Mr. Perfect now? No, I see. Okay.
But nonetheless, last year when we signed him, he was at Ball State and UCLA. He wasn't really a fullback. He was a running back. So it's like he's getting molded into this position to carve out an NFL career to be a fullback. So it's not natural to him. Right. So this position being a fullback is not natural to him. He's a running back who's being kind of converted into this role. So it's good. It's good. It's good. He's going to take some lumps. And obviously he did last year.
Yeah. Samuel Lofton, fullback cannot be. No, you can't. Shoot. Fullback, running back can't be. I don't care what you do. Either one. You're right, Samuel. Neither one. You can't be timid whatsoever. And everybody, they can see it. People wear fear. You see it in the eyes. You can see it in the gait. You can see how they approach it. You can see how somebody is decides to take a step forward. Like you could see it in every frame of what they do. And sometimes fear can capture a guy. It can capture him. So it was. He said he was an all-star or Brandon Jacobs, who under Brown, who Carson Steele. Is that who you talking about?
Well, yeah, I hope he's not talking about Carson Steele.
All-star was a whole different animal.
True, man. They talk about guys who don't make them like they used to. They don't make them like they used to. That was funny too. During the pre-draft process, Cam Scatabo, he reminds me of Mike Allstott. No, he doesn't. What are you talking about? Like the amount of times I saw that, and I know where that's coming from. It's like ridiculous. Do you not watch football? People comparing him to Mike Allstott? I mean, it's crazy.
One thing they were talking about his breaking tackles ability. I think they would give him, obviously the compliment on that.
Yeah, but Scatabo had a little more like kind of wiggle to him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Allstott, you don't want to get in the way of Allstott. Whereas
yeah, you're gonna be waking up with smell of salts.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I do believe that like Carson Steele kind of, and Linda Hunter said that Carson seemed gun shy after that first. He did, but that's exactly why Andy Reid gave him it right back. Hey man, we're gonna get back in the game. We're gonna give it right back to you. Why? Because we trust you. You belong here. You're here to make plays. And sometimes you need that confidence. Sometimes you need that swift kick in the tail. Get you back on it. Which your house said, do they still use speller? They sure do. Sure do. I can tell them jokers when they doing it. They'll do it like this. They put it in their hand, or they'll carry it around a little bit. Yeah, they still use smelling salts. Sometimes people use smelling salts just to wake them up, to get them hyped up. So we used to do it all the time, man. It was the kickoff or before the game. It didn't matter if you were going down on kickoff or not. You're just getting it smelling salt. Okay, let's go.
To wake up. Honor Brown says he has that all-stop build, but day one all-stop wasn't a person we remember he grew into. With the right amount of touch, the steal could be a 2.0 version and hold on to the ball. I hope so. Again, we're talking about the comparisons. I hope he could be a Mike Allstott. I hope so, man.
He has an all-star build. Yeah.
I feel like Allstott's bigger, though, right?
No, All-Star's bigger than Carson Steele. Yeah, definitely. Probably about like 25, 30 pounds, ain't he? But I see your point. Now, All-Star was a bad boy from day one. That's another difference. I don't think he came to his own. All-Star started out running jokers over. But it's two different eras, two different times, man. So look,
Allstott was 6'1", 248. And Steele right now is 6 foot 227, so about 20 pounds of difference there.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely different eras of football for sure. I mean, they don't have the neck rolls like that anymore. They don't make shoulder pads like that anymore.
Yeah. Stu says, "What up, Stu? Stu's out here. Mike Allstott got friends with him down here in Tampa. Tough fullback from Purdue. Oh yeah." And then he said neck roll weigh that much.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, I remember jokers used to come in. It didn't matter what school you was at. You always see some joker come off the bus, always looking like this. Just so come off the bus just like that. He like he'd have hit her. Oh, he got it. So he had skinny arms and everything. It's like look just like that come off the bus with the neck roll. You like
all big chested too.
Yeah. He said his joker right here, he ain't goes crushing great. But then you have some suckers that was wearing that you already knew what time it was.
Right. The one time I remember the guys who look like that, but like shoestring tackle. Like, what are you doing?
I'll tell you how you can tell. You can tell a joker if they got like neck roll like this on, look at their arms. If their arms match, their neck and all this, he's the real deal. When you look at this joke and it suckers, his jersey is flimsy, you're like, he ain't nobody. Oh man. Oh,
that's
so funny. For everybody, that is on here, and I'm speaking to the ladies about the neck rolls and stuff like that. It's kind of like one of those jokes, man. We see guys coming off the bus or coming in the building, they had the neck roll on. Well, Tasha knows neck roll and oversized shoulder pads made it look like scoliosis brain. Yeah, for sure. Oh. Stewart, he is a joker. All-Star is a joker. That's a big joker is what he is. That sucker right there going to hurt you.
Yeah, that's a comparison that you're not going to get much these days anymore.
Mm-mm. Boy, we used to remember that. Me and Neff, we used to see them jokers come off the bus. The sucker come out with the biggest neck roll, like, yep, that's the sucker we going after. We going to hit that sucker right there and take him out first. Oh, man. Oh, is that the things that you just see? I remember story time. I remember that I was coaching my son, and this is when he's in middle school. He's 8th grade. And this school, I forgot where it was from. Well, these kids are coming off the bus, right? And the first 3 jokers was like, now, middle school, mind you, these jokers like 6'5", like 272. I'm like, what the heck? Like, where they feeding these kids? Like, I noticed, you better check this sucker's birth certificate. And so I go up to the coach. I'm like, hey, man. I was like, yo. I said, man, where you get these kids at, man? I said, are y'all sure y'all should be out here on the field? Y'all ain't over here illegal nothing. He said, nah, coach. He said, man, they look good. He said, these jokers right here won't even touch the field. I said, you kidding me? He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, they can't play no ball. I was like, I said, look, it worked. The intimidating factor worked. And them jokers, when they came off, man, you can see the bus swaying back and forth. I'm like, what is this? And our kids was they was afraid. And I went straight to our kids. I said, you know what? Like I told that kid today, like I told Ryan today, Ryan Kistner. I said, look, when you see a big dude like me, I don't care who it is, you stand up there with your chest out, you let them know you could hit these suckers. That's what you do. You never know what the sucker's going to be about, Marcus. You never know.
That's true. Heart over height. Heart over height.
Right. That's right. You got a heart to you. Hey, baby, bring the pain. Bring it to you. Bring it. That's what it's need to be about. Wheeler said, play the guy who was 7 foot. He swore he was 12. Yeah. Oh. 13-year-old with armpit hair, Newt said. Yeah. Said, but he wasn't tough. Smacked him in the mouth. Smacked him a couple of times. He didn't want nothing. Got to smack them in the mouth. That's right.
Yes, sir.
That's what the joke is all about, man. And so that's somebody over here playing, selling wolf tickets too. Yeah, blah. Okay, keep talking. You keep talking. All right. We're gonna take care of you. Keep talking. I tell you who used to do it all the time, who didn't had anything to say, but he would throw the joker up every chance he got. And that was Will Shields. Will Shields hardly spoke. You ask him jokers who they watched out for, Will Shields.
Ninja.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. The biggest trees fall to the chainsaw. Yes, sir, Reed. That's right with you. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Mike will bust you one. That is Mike Allstott, I mean. He will bust me one. Shoot.
So we have one question here from Bradley Sexton before we get out of here, JD, and he asked us at 9:05 EST. If you guys were on the competition committee of the NFL, what rules would you change in today's game? And I will change the mile blunt row. I don't really know. I don't know what he means by that one. But JD, what rule would you change if you had to choose one?
Oh man, if you guys was on the competition committee on the for what rules we change in today's game. I would change tomorrow. No, it's a good question. What rule do I just not? I just don't like. I can't think of anything right now off my hand, Bradley.
I would say the only one I would say, and I don't know if it's a rule to reverse or to get rid of, but I would add in. I know some people would hate this, but it's to be able to review roughing the passer. I think that needs to be. I think that needs to be a reviewable play because it's quick. You'll know right away if you're, if a guy's flopping, if it's a legit thing or not. Because I think there's been some over the years. I mean, the whole Matt Ryan, Chris Jones thing, the Derek Carr, Chris Jones thing. There's been some that's like, why? That's not roughing the passer. So yeah, I would say be able to review roughing the passer would be the one thing I would add. Yeah,
I think roughing the passer too. I think they're little very timid on the calls in itself, man. I think you blow on a quarterback, they're calling it. I think it's terrible. I think it's terrible the way they're doing it. I get these guys are making a lot of money, but them suckers get hit too. And making sure it's a significant hit before you call it. Honestly, I don't like that one. Thank you, Andre Brown. I like that one. But I also like Sasha's too. I had 10 more players to every roster. I like that as well, Sasha. I think they should do that. So, yeah.
They've moved in a better direction since COVID because I think they've added more players to the practice squad since COVID. So I think we might be getting there, maybe to 63-man rosters. What do you think? You think at some point in the next 10 years we'll see bigger rosters or no?
I think they should. I think it just gives guys more opportunity, make more money. That's where I'm at. So Sasha, I think it's a very good cause to speak about. So I agree with you.
That's interesting. A pass interference should not be a spot foul, maybe 10 or 15 yards. What do you think? What do you think about going to the college rule, JD? You don't like that?
No, because sometimes it can be blatant. It's going to be 10 to 15 yards. I think sometimes no. Like you did it on purpose. We should go. It should be a spot foul.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I agree. I don't like the college rule there.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Atkins fumbled through the end zone.
I don't like that either. I just something about that is just like we came all the way down here in the fumble. Like, why don't you just put it on one or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I do get it. So, no.
I will say some of those guys who do showboat there, like that Jonathan Taylor had one last year where he fumbled. He dropped the ball right before he got to the end zone, or he dropped it and then it was a touchback. So, help me. I won a fantasy game because of that. Because the guy I was playing had Jonathan Taylor. Had he had that 6 points, I would have lost. So I do like that rule sometimes.
Yeah. That's just idiotic doing that. Tush push, okay with you? It is for me. I don't mind the tush push.
Yeah. Stop it. Really stop it. If everyone could do it, they would do it, and not everyone can do it. So
right.
Learn to play with it and learn to stop it.
Right. Don't punish one team because they do it well.
Yeah.
Shoot, stop it.
Yeah, if we could do the QB sneak properly, we would do that. But with our pass, the QB sneak can't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Mel Blunt. What's the Mel Blunt rule, JD?
I don't know. Let me look it up now. Designer Rich would call the Mel Blunt rule the cream that no defensive back could bump an offensive player outside of 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. As a result of the rule change, manning up the receivers on-1 became more difficult, and the game was opened up considerably for passing. Offense in the NFL greatly improved. Passing yards and touchdown increased. Nonetheless, Blunt remained a dominant force on the vaunted Pittsburgh defense. I don't mind the rule. I think it's a pretty good rule. You don't want somebody accosting you all the way down the field. The suckers get criminal with it. Like, hey, man, come on, that guy.
Yeah, and also too, the NFL wants more scoring. That's one rule they're never going to lift. They want more scoring because they know people watch scoring. They're not going to want to do that.
But you know what it's done, Marcus? It has actually enhanced the DB's athletic ability in their play. Is what they've done.
It's made them better, yeah.
More skillful, no question about it. So some guys sink and swim. So
yeah,
it's supposed to be difficult.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of people are the instant replay of pass interference is the number one thing in the chat. So I think they tried it a few years ago. Then it went away after 1 year. I mean, it was too much stoppage of play with the replay on the pass interference.
I don't mind those as much. I mean,
they got rid of it after 1 year. I mean, usually the NFL lets those things ride it out. I mean, the fact they got rid of it after 1 year is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Will says no Mel Blount rule. Those guys would be assaulting Travis Kelce down the field. No, they get away with it already.
Every receiver. Them suckers wouldn't be making the money they were making. That's a fact. Because I take that joke and I throw it suckers dead in the sideline. He wouldn't be able to get nowhere. Nowhere. Yeah, Mel used to mug wide receivers. Wide receivers could do anything. Yeah. He used to mug them, but them jokers still would get open. They could catch it. Lynn Swan, them jokers, I know they was on the same team, but I'm just saying there was some guys that could still catch the ball.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, back then it was just different, man. Just different. Guys like Cliff Branch.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for us. We hope you guys enjoyed this edition of the Monday Morning Tight End Show on your Monday evening. We hope you guys loved it, and we hope you guys come back for more next Monday and, of course, this Wednesday for our Chief Concerns midweek show for all the latest news and headlines in the Chiefs Kingdom. So, JD, send us off, baby.
Hey, listen, brother, I enjoyed tonight's episode immensely. I did. And so thank you all for coming out here and giving your comments, all your input into what we were talking about. It's always a wonderful time, man, anytime we get to share it with you all. I'd like to tell you before, man, how much we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you for coming on and just seeing us, really. So with that being said, see some new names out here. Wonderful time. Y'all keep coming back. We're going to be having some very good moments on here and some things that y'all can come and see. Happy birthday, Tage. Today, Tage's birthday.
Yeah, Sasha's making me feel like a bad brother here. I also meant to shout Tasia out. Tasia celebrated his 40th birthday yesterday. So Tasia is now 4-0 in the 40 club. Happy birthday, brother. Love you. I hope you're enjoying vacation right now. But yeah, Tasia's birthday was yesterday.
Happy birthday, Tage. Happy birthday, brother. So we do a happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, Tasia. Happy birthday to you, Tasia. I know you're watching, not watching. You will see it. Send you a message, man. We love you, brother. Love you. Good to see you,
bud.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I'm glad Sasha called you out like, hey, man, you ain't going to get me brother on?
It's a good call, Sasha. Yeah, I totally. I was gonna do it at the beginning of the show, but I forgot. But yeah, Tasia, big 4-0, buddy.
40. God. Yeah. So y'all now he got the gray hair because I thought Tasia was older than 40. So y'all got like the grays coming in.
Yeah. So Tasia's always had gray hair. I was born with the 2 white spots here. It's continued to go back.
Reed Richards.
Yeah. But I got asked yesterday at our flag game if I dye my hair white. I'm like, no, I don't dye my hair white. What are you talking about? Tasia always had white, but now like he grayed really early. So like he was like in his mid-20s where he started to get gray all over the place. But yeah, Tasia's the big 4-0. Tasia's the seasoned vet, man.
Yeah. Hey, jeez. Young bucks out here, man. Enjoy it. That's good. Alden Brown said, see 40 again. You ain't kidding. Give me 40 all over again, Alden Brown. You're right. So, good stuff. So, yeah. Listen, everybody. So, Tasia, hey, happy birthday to him. But I'll say bye to everybody else. Gary Holland, Faye Smith, G. Pick, Samuel Lofton, Sandman in the house, Nana Sherry, Newt Rockney, Gary Holland, Witchy Hall, Demetrio Spence, Amda Brown, About Time. What else we got in here? Stu, said, "Hey JD, more jokers play when you played or play now. There's a lot of jokers. Hey, it's never shortage of jokers out here, Stu. Never. Deshaun Hammond's out here. Will, good to see you, Will. Thank you for saying all the things. Chief Fan 1969, Justin DeWay. Let me see who else we got on here, man. Good conversation. New, good seeing you, man. Hope everything's working, good for you. Good everything's your way, man. Yeah, I know. Always a hard time. I appreciate it. Hey, if you didn't give me a hard time, it wouldn't be you, New. It would not be you. I enjoy you giving me a hard time. Ain't no problem with it. Okay. Let's see who else we got on here.
This time last year, JD, we were hyping up LRZ, and New was all about it, saying LRZ was the next big thing.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a peep about LRZ today.
Not
though.
a peep. LRZ. Man. Flash in the pan. Dad got it. Oh, well. It's all right. Steve Atkins. Yeah, and just imagine if he decided to stay here, what it would have been. Well,
never know.
Yep. Well, Steve Atkins, good seeing you, man. Let me see who else we got out here. Neff, good seeing you, Neff. You shall right after this. I talked about Stu. Bradley Sexton, good to see you, Bradley. Appreciate the conversation and the question you gave us. Let me see who else we got on here. I said Linda Hunter. I think I did. Let me see who else we got here. Marcus. Nana Sherry. Did I say Nana Sherry? I didn't say Nana Sherry for a while. Stanley Mooney as well. SH991. So I like to know what's behind some of these names, right? So girl asked me, said, why you call me Dungeon? I'm like, because my last name is Dunn. She's like, that makes sense. The girl that was Jasmine, her dad, to my man out there in San Diego, got to see him. We'll talk, give him a shout out to him. I love getting these little shout outs, man. It's always a good time. Chief Fan 211. Appreciate it, my guy. I know I said Samuel Lofton already. About time, hope your family's doing well. Mike Brennan. Mike is here. I ain't seen Mike in a while either. Hope Mike's doing well. Mike, hope you're doing good, brother. DeMonte Green Bees was here in the house. My lady sweetie was in the house. I better go up here and get me something. Nafis Foster was here. What's up, Nafis? Good to see you, my guy. Let me see. I think it's about it. I don't know. I don't see anybody else, Marcus. Oh, Jason Tarbox. I know there's a Jason on here. It's always good to see another Jason on here.
Yeah, we love Jasons.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we do. Yes, sir. G-Pig. I don't see no else. I think that's about it. Listen, hey, look, if I didn't get to say your name, you know what it is, man. We appreciate you. We love you so much. Chief Concerns family, y'all take care. We will see y'all on Wednesday night. Y'all take care of one another. Love each other the way you're supposed to. Support each other. How the responsibility is told for us. Marcus, my brother, love you, man. I will talk to you. I'm ready to go up there and go get me something to eat.
Same here.
Sit back. We will see y'all on
Wednesday night. Take it easy, everybody.
Love y'all.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.